Aviation, probably more than any other mode of transportation, is greatly affected by weather. From rain and thunderstorms to wind and fog, every phase of flight has the potential to be impacted by weather. Commercial aviation in Nigeria is adversely affected, and the cost of flight delays and cancellations is a significant budget item. To enhance safety while attempting to maintain flight schedule integrity and profitability, airlines are dependent upon accurate weather information. Ensuring that this weather information is not only timely but efficiently managed is the subject of our discussion on the program. Thanks for joining us on Aviation this week. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.
The Acting Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Benedict Adeyinleka, has said that investigation into the crashed IRS airline aircraft incident was being handled by Niger Republic since the crash did not occur in the Nigerian airspace. Adeyinleka noted that the Accident Investigation Bureau and the NCAA will provide assistance in the course of the investigation. It will be recalled that a Fokker 100 with registration number 5NSIK belonging to the IRS airline lost contact with the control tower at Ganla, Niger Republic and crashed. The twin jet was on a positioning flight back to Kano from Bratislava, where it had undergone a C check. Still with the NCAA, but this time the regulatory authority has issued the Air Operator's Certificate to Asman Air Services, the latest entrant in the domestic air transport industry. At the event, the NCAA authorities read the Riot Act to domestic airline operators, urging them to avoid cancellation of flights, delayed and deferred maintenance of aircraft, and other infractions that constitute a threat to air safety. He said authorities will not hesitate to clamp down on defaulting airlines. The NCAA said it issued the certificate to Asman Air Services after 2 years of scrutiny into the documents and manuals of the airline in line with the prescribed requirements. The International Air Transport Association has released data showing air freight markets in mid-2014 were up by 5.9% compared to a year ago, and capacity grew 3.4%. IATA says this marks a significant improvement in volumes compared to March 2013. Since the beginning of the year, air cargo volumes have been basically flat. This plateau in volumes is consistent with the recent pause in improvements to business confidence and world trade. However, IATA believes business conditions in the US and Europe provide a reason to be cautiously optimistic for a resumption of growth in the years ahead. From cargo business growth to aircraft manufacturing, where European aircraft maker Airbus expects to sell part of the A350-900 test fleet to customers, although it has not indicated how many of the 5 jets could be transferred. The airframer is aiming for a 350 certification in the third quarter of 2014 and is preparing to introduce the final test aircraft MSN-5 to the program.
This airplane has been rather more for performance, and we've used it as well for the environmental campaign. So it's just been to a high altitude campaign in La Paz, cold weather campaign in Iqaluit in northern Canada. So it's sharing the work, but this is rather more oriented to the performance and systems, whereas MSN-1 was the initial envelope, opening the flight envelope and the handling qualities.
Boeing had 6 aircraft in its 787-8 test fleet, but could only consider 3 of them as potential sale airframes because of the extensive modifications made to the other 3. 2 A350s are undergoing final assembly in Toulouse ahead of the first delivery to Qatar Airways, scheduled for the 4th quarter. Malaysia Airlines has announced that the dramatic impact of the missing Flight 370 pushed the unprofitable carrier to its worst quarterly earnings in more than 2 years, as overall passenger traffic fell sharply, particularly in China. The company, which is also known by its formal name, Malaysian Airlines System or MAS, said its first quarter net loss has increased to 443.4 million ringgit or $137.4 million from a loss of 278.8 million ringgit a year earlier. Facing high cost and stiff competition from regional and global carriers, Malaysia Airlines has lost money for the past 3 years. The disappearance of Flight 370 in March had put additional stress on what it already expected to be a challenging year. Malaysia Airlines has been squeezed between nimbler rivals like the low-cost Air Asia on short routes and by Persian Gulf carriers for longer flights. Since last year, the company has been lowering fares to try to bolster traffic, but hampered by a strong trade union reluctant to embrace new work practices. It has struggled to reduce costs and improve productivity. Operating costs rose 6% in the first quarter, mainly because of higher fuel prices and a weakening of the ringgit against the dollar, the airline said.
Aviation This Week pauses here, but when we return, it will be time to speak with the Director General of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, Dr. Anthony Anuforom, who tells us why it is essential for pilots to obtain weather information prior to takeoff and during every phase of their flight. Do join us again.
Welcome to the home of weather prediction in Nigeria. Within its walls are experts collating scientific figures, telling when the rain, sun, or even thunderstorm will come. Without this team, pilots would not even dare take to the skies.
Before a pilot takes off, there is need. ICAO regulation requires that such a pilot should visit the 9-minute briefing room to obtain information on the weather situation, on the aerodrome of departure, en route, and as well as the destination aerodrome.
When the weatherman is at work, he's watching out for certain parameters.
Temperature, you have the pressure, you have the clouds, and then you have the weather that is actually, prevailing at that time, point in time. These are the meteorological elements that actually affect weather operations.
And almost always, the parameters determine whether to go or not to go.
At various depths, measuring the temperature of the Earth at various depths, starting from 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters to 20 to 30 to 50 and 100. The wind direction and the wind speeds.
Parameter measurement comes with specific equipment, Doppler radars, and low-level wind shear equipment, which are available. The calibrated meteorological instrument is also in.
The speed at which it's moving, and then the meteorologists will see everything and use it to issue the warning to the public.
With the new equipment in place, NIMET says it's guaranteeing accurate and timely weather information that will ensure safety both on land and in the air.